They say money exposes people faster than a confession ever could. And I learned that lesson not in a courtroom, not in a business meeting, but in a glass-walled bank where cold air smelled like polished marble, expensive perfume, and quiet arrogance. I wasn't supposed to be there that morning, at least, not as the version of me everyone assumed I was. Simple clothes, messy hair, old sandals tapping weakly on the floor. A woman most people looked through, not at. I walked into the bank with a small folder pressed against my chest. Not because it carried anything important, just habit, a shield, a comfort, something to hold when the world tried to push you aside. The moment I stepped inside, the guards didn't greet me, the receptionists didn't glance up, the customers didn't notice me. I was invisible, something I had gotten used to. I took a quiet seat near the wall, close to the VIP lounge. I didn't dare sit in that lounge. People like me didn't belong on velvet chairs or under golden chandeliers meant for richer. Hand stop. My number hadn't even come up yet when I felt the shift in the room. The type of shift you only feel when someone important arrives. And then he walked in, Daniel Hayes. A man the newspapers called the young millionaire who built an empire too fast. A man whose face was on billboards promising affordable housing, even though no one could actually afford them. He looked exactly like the headlines described him. Perfect suit, perfect hair, perfect smirk. The kind of smirk that only sits on the face of someone who believes life bends for him. He strutted through the lobby like he owned it, and maybe he did, because the staff practically stumbled over themselves to greet him. Good morning, Mr. Hayes. Welcome back, sir. How can we assist you today? He waved them off with a bored smile, and then his eyes landed on me. Just a second, just one small glance, but in that moment, I felt the exact calculation behind his gaze. Poor, insignificant background noise. He turned to the receptionist and sighed dramatically. You're taking walk-ins today? He said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The receptionist followed his gaze to me. Her smile tightened. She's probably just here for a balance check, she whispered, almost apologizing for my existence. He let out a low laugh, a laugh that could slice skin. I lowered my eyes. Not because it hurt, but because I didn't come here for anyone's approval. I came here for truth, for a number, for the closure I'd been avoiding for months. When my number flashed on the screen, counter 7, I stood up slowly and walked to the desk. The teller didn't smile, didn't greet me, barely looked at me as she snapped her gum and tapped on her keyboard. How may I help you? I just want to check my account balance, I said. Behind me, I heard Daniel chuckle again. Checking your balance, bold-eyed. Look away if I were you. His tone was dripping with amusement. The teller giggled softly, glancing at him. I wasn't sure if she even heard what I said after that. She inserted my card, typed a few keys, and waited. And in that waiting, everything in her expression changed. Her gum froze mid-chew. Her eyes locked on the screen. Her posture shifted from lazy slouch to rigid attention. She leaned in closer, blinking, reading again, rechecking. Then she looked at me, really looked at me for the first time. Ma'am, is this your account? I nodded. Her voice dropped into something like shock or fear behind me. Daniel's laughter grew. What is it? Minus balance. Don't worry, it happens to half the country. The teller didn't laugh this time. Her voice trembled slightly. Sir, I don't think you understand. She turned the monitor just a little, enough for him to catch a glimpse. And I watched something I had never seen on his face. Confusion. Then disbelief. Then panic. What number is that? He whispered. The screen displayed 1,384,229, 842.56 over 1.38 billion rupees. Enough to buy half his company's projects. The teller swallowed. Ma'am, would you like your printed statement? I simply nodded. Daniel stepped closer, staring at the number like it was a glitch in reality. This must be wrong, he muttered. No mistake, sir, the teller said firmly. Her account is flagged as elite priority, government verified. He stared at me with open shock. Suddenly, I wasn't invisible. Suddenly, the room didn't just see me, they stared. The teller handed me the printed statement with both hands, gently, almost respectfully. The same teller who didn't bother greeting me 10 minutes ago. I thanked her and turned to leave, but Daniel stepped in front of me, blocking my path. Hey, wait, he said softly, a very different tone from the one he used earlier. I apologize if I sounded rude. If I repeated, he swallowed. Okay, I was rude, I misjudged, I didn't expect. No, I said calmly. You didn't. He hesitated, struggling to find words. Then he forced a small laugh. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how does someone like you? I tilted my head slightly. Someone like me? His face froze. You mean someone who doesn't look rich? I Didn't say that, you didn't have to. Silence swelled between us. For the first time in his life, he didn't know what to say. I stepped past him, but before I reached the exit, the bank manager sprinted toward me. Ma'am. Wait, please, he said breathlessly. We can escort you to our VIP lounge. We can set up a premium investment plan you qualify for. I'm fine, I said. I only came to see my balance. He blinked, confused. People with my balance usually came with assistants, not old sandals. Behind him, Daniel was staring at me with something new in his eyes, fear, because people like him respect two things, power and money. And today, I held both. As I walked out the door, the sunlight hit my face and I took a slow breath. That number on the screen. It wasn't luck, it wasn't magic, it wasn't a miracle. It was my father's story, a silent man. A man who never wore expensive clothes, never showed off wealth, never chased status. Years ago, he invested in a stretch of useless land everyone laughed at. Dry, empty, worthless. Then the government announced the Silicon Hills Tech City project. And that worthless land became the heart of a billion-rupee development dream. Offers came in like floods, and when he passed away last year, everything came to me. I didn't tell anyone, not even relatives, because the moment they know you're rich, you stop being a person and start being a wallet. So I stayed invisible. Simple clothes, simple life, simple face in a crowded room. Until today, I stepped onto the sidewalk outside the bank, adjusting the paper in my hand. The city moved around me, unaware that I had just walked out of a building with more wealth than half its skyscrapers. And just when I thought the moment was finally over, I heard hurried footsteps behind me. Wait. Someone called out. Daniel. He jogged toward me, out of breath and suddenly mortal. I think we should talk, he said. Maybe discuss investments, partnerships. My company has projects. I turned around slowly, letting silence hold him still. Then I gave him the smirk he had thrown at me inside the bank. Mr. Hayes, I said, you laughed at me before. You knew who I was. He flinched slightly. And now that you do, I continued, you want to talk. His mouth opened, but no words came out. I lifted the printed statement slightly. Not everything valuable shines at first glance. You should learn that before you lose more than just opportunities. He stood there in silence, watching me walk away, watching the woman he mocked, dismissed, and underestimated leave the scene wealthier than his ego could comprehend. He laughed when he thought I had nothing. He fell silent when he realized I had everything. And for the first time in a long time, I walked away feeling seen. Not because of my money, but because I finally understood something important. You don't need to prove your worth to people to blind to see it.